Howdy folks, Scott here. Welcome to another video. Today I'm reviewing Life. Life's a new science fiction thriller that came out the other day. It was pretty good. I kind of enjoyed it. I'll go over that in a moment. Straight off the bat, as always, with me being no trailer guy, I went into this with no synopsis on it other than the fact that it was a bunch of dudes in space who came across an organism. So I knew nothing about it other than that. I'd never seen a trailer, as always, with myself now. So if you want to retain that and you have every intention of seeing this movie, just know that it was pretty good. Go see it, and I'm going to talk about elements that were in the trailer. So, you know, if you've watched the trailers, I'm not going to be spoiling anything for you. The film's got Ryan Reynolds and Jake Gyllenhaal and Rebecca Ferguson in there. It's an ensemble piece set on the International Space Station. It's really well made. It's pretty well shot. There's a really cool scene at the beginning that was a really long, unedited shot showing like each people in their different stations on this station, what they were doing for their jobs and all. The basic rundown of the story is that a probe or a rover has come back from Mars after being there for quite some time. They have to catch this thing and investigate the soil samples on there, and they find a single cell organism, and the movie goes on from there. You know, you do see moments of this organism in the trailer. I really don't want to talk about it too much because the trailers don't give away absolutely everything this thing is about for once, which is pretty good, but the trailers do give away quite a bit of the movie, which I was pretty disappointed about. They pretty much give away a few people who are going to live and die. Going into it, I didn't know any of that, so it was a pretty good thriller. The first two acts were probably stronger than the third. It tend to, at the beginning of the third act, slow down a little bit. It seemed like it was struggling to draw out its running time to get to its conclusion, but it was a pretty well done movie. I definitely enjoyed it. I guess my biggest gripe going into this would be similar to some of the gripes I had in Prometheus, which I'll talk about in a subsequent video later on more in detail, but I'm of the thinking that if you're a scientist, you should be pretty bloody smart, and some people do some pretty fucking stupid things in Prometheus, and they do some pretty stupid things in here. Without giving too much away, because again, it's an element that's in the trailer, the primary guy who works with this single cell organism, who's, you know, culturing it and developing it and studying it, when it starts to do some pretty bizarre things, he interacts with it in a very stupid way, like that idiot in Prometheus with the snake creature. He's like, "Come here, baby," even though it looks completely dangerous. This isn't on the same level, but still I think scientists should be smarter. There's a lot of dumb things that they did in this that I think, you know, a bunch of smart people perhaps could have thought about a little better. But there's some cool stuff. That Neil deGrasse Tyson guy I saw recently on a Joe Rogan podcast talking about the movie Gravity and all the stupidity in there with, you know, hair sitting straight and all this kind of stuff, and he actually addressed people crying in space and how they'd got it wrong. There was a moment in this where a chick cried and the tears were actually lifting off of her cheek as they came out of her eyeball and that, and I thought that was a pretty good touch. I'd be interested to see what he's got to say about that. But overall it was pretty well made. It kept me entertained from start to finish. Like I said, there's some dubious decisions people make in there, as there are in most thrillers and horror movies, and there's some pretty stupid science, I think, not being a scientist myself, but I liked it. I don't want to say too much about the organism, like I said, so, you know, if you have every intention of seeing this movie, the less you know about it, probably the better. But, you know, I do recommend it, and it's a cool gap filler. It's impossible not to draw comparisons between this and Alien. Even reminded me in a lot of ways of that film Splice, with the science, well, you know, the science behind it. You know, they went for a horror element, but I didn't find it particularly horrific. It was definitely a thriller. It had some tense moments in there. You know, it's definitely earned its MA-15 rating in Australia, which would be an R rating in America. I doubt it would be PG-13 over there, because there was some pretty intense violence in there. Nothing too bad, but yeah, there's some good surprises. So again, if you don't know much going into it, probably keep it that way and go check it out. There's nothing much going on right now movie-wise until Guardians of the Galaxy and all, unless you're particularly keen to go and check out Beauty and the Beast this weekend, which my daughter's actually pretty keen to do. She wants to go and see Lego Batman next week, and also wants to see Ghost in the Shell, so I dare say I'll be back to review one or if not both of those movies pretty soon. So as always, thanks for watching. I do recommend the movie, I just don't want to rave about it. I certainly don't want to hype it up. I enjoyed it more than I did Kong a week or so ago, so if that helps, then there you go. As always, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. There'll be a button up there in a sec if you're looking on a web browser. Recommend my channel to your friends, and I'll be back for another review really soon. Thanks for watching, folks. See ya.